I want to start there with your Lucifer tours here. So I think Lucifer has established a very intense relationship with Brazil with visits in 2022, 2024, and now you are returning for your biggest run here. So do you feel that the Brazilian audience has understood the band's message in a unique way, creating this constant call for you to come back?
I hope so. I'm not sure. It's really difficult to see everything from the outside because, I've just come out of a really long winter where I was kind of hibernating and I was spending a lot of time alone, in my own little bubble. And when you go on tour, it's the opposite. And then you all of a sudden see the other end of the stick and all these people, and I sometimes forget about that. I don't know if I'm a little bit of an autist or something, where you kind of just, when you're like in your head and then you go on tour and you're like surprised by the connection that's there with people. And it is so awesome. And I'm very grateful for it. So I'm hoping that is the case.
And do you feel the Latin America crowd reacts differently to Lucifer compared to the Europe crowd or the US?
Yeah, it's a little bit different in all of these countries, with how outgoing and passionate people are. And I mean, I love that about the Latin crowd because I think I'm a pretty um, like I always wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm very emotional, and so I can relate to that better than to a lot of kind of reserved German behavior. So I think in Germany, I'm a little bit like the odd person, and I feel very at home with the temperament of Latin people.
And I mean, Lucifer has always felt more than a band, but like a ritualistic experience. So, how conscious are you about building a world around music?
Oh, that is a very conscious decision, because I think every element of Lucifer is important to me. It's always been the plan that it's sonically, the music, visually, and that like all your senses are met. And because that's kind of what I want as a music fan, when I love a band, I usually tend to love bands where everything plays together, where you hear the music, the lyrics go hand in hand with it. You look at the band and you look at the aesthetics of the designs of, the albums, the merch, the posters, what like all these things come in together. And that was my plan for Lucifer. Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know if you heard this story before, but Alice Cooper was the first big international concert here in Brazil. It was in 1974, I believe. And when he came, it was chaotic in many ways because there was a lot of people, and it generated some kind of protest because of his image, and almost like a satanic panic thing. It was like a moral panic. So
Right.
with the current global rise of conservatives, do you think that the name Lucifer feel more provocative now than it did 10, 12 years ago when the band started? And also, do you see the band as a sanctuary for those who value artistic freedom above dogma?
Well, I mean, I wish it was so, I don't think Lucifer is the most rebellious band on the planet. Of course, there's like way more, like eyebrow raising bands out there, in punk and black metal and death metal and so on. I guess Lucifer is kind of like tame compared to that. Though, at heart, I mean, I grew up being a death metal kid, a black metal kid, and I had a brother who was a punk. So I do understand that spirit very well, and I do carry that inside of me as well. I do think Lucifer is kind of tame compared to a lot of other rascals. But I do find it surprising that the name actually does raise eyebrows amongst conservative rock fans. And I'm kind of shocked at it because where I come from in Germany, nobody, like not even, I mean, I come from a family of priests, yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm not a shocker in my family. I have a cousin who was a goth, my brother was a punk. There was like a lot of, rock and roll music and stuff. I have another heavy metal cousin. It's never been an issue at all. Very liberal and open-minded. So when I come to the US or like Latin America, where all of a sudden the name Lucifer is like for some like Christian rock fans like really disgusting, I'm like, wow, that's cool. Can I have a little bit more of a reaction like that? Of course, I love that, you know.
So,
But
about your new lineup, uh, I understand that you didn't announce like a steady lineup, right? But
yeah.
it features incredible musicians: Rosalie, Claudia, Curly, Kevin, and this feels like a super group in, of sorts. So, how having such strong, established female creative forces on stage by your side changed the energy and the internal chemistry of the band compared to previous iterations?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say I have never had as much fun backstage and on stage as with those girls. That's the honest truth. What can I say? It's like before I was very often the only woman on tour. And that's all great, I grew up in a metal scene where I was one of the few women. Luckily, there's a lot more women around these days, But it feels fucking powerful and great to do this together with like other people that also have vaginas. It's cool to have like girlfriends on tour with you that you can talk to, And also, I do think still, unfortunately, to this day, it is harder for a woman to be in the rock scene and on tour. You kind of have to prove yourself more. You have more obstacles. It's a very bro kind of culture still, unfortunately. And it's it's kind of, you also as a woman, you like easily get bitchified. Like there's so many like weird stigmas attached to being a woman. And it feels nice to feel like natural, together with people that have gone through the same struggles and the same situations, It puts like an ease at you, and I fucking love it. We've been having a blast.
And recently in Brazil, Brazil took a stand with stricter laws against misogyny. So now it will be a crime. Misogyny is a crime in Brazil now.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. I mean, it is kind of sad. Like it has to go to this point, right? So I was gonna
Yeah.
ask you about that, about touring with a lineup with other girls, and if you think that this sends a deliberate message to the industry, like is this third coming also a statement about female power in rock?
Well, I wish, like you said, I wish it wouldn't have to be so. I wish everything would just be equal and we wouldn't even have to sit here and talk about it. I wish it would come naturally to boys and that their mothers and their fathers would raise boys to be men that are respectful of women. And unfortunately, it's so deep, also in women. Often other women don't even realize that they're kind of catering towards sexism as well, And I wish it wasn't so. I mean, it was not really. I never thought I'd have like a girl band, to say fuck you to all the guys or something. I mean, it's stupid, I don't want to be like that. Like I love anyone. It doesn't matter if they, have a penis or tits or none of it at all or whatever, as long as the heart is in the right spot, that and they have a brain, Um, but maybe it was a little bit because I had a little bit of a shocker in my life, when my split from my ex-husband and so on, and yeah, I don't want to like publicly air like dirty laundry or anything, but my husband was a lot more famous than I was or is, and you notice that people have a tendency to go with that. And okay, I'm not going to say anything anymore, but it was like, no, you know what? I want to have good, positive energy in my life, and I love these girls, and they're so talented, and I'm gonna do that now because I can.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you think about recording a new album with this lineup?
I'm gonna keep a curtain closed right now. Everything that's gonna happen from here on is top secret.
Okay. And after more than a decade with Lucifer, what feels easier today and what feels more difficult?
I think it's everything is kind of easier, I would say, because I was kind of like I mean, I've been in bands for like since I was a teenager, but not as pro as in Lucifer with touring and like recording albums on a regular basis and stuff. So of course you learn a lot in 10 years, um, anything from like songwriting to the entire creative process and so on. So that of course feels all easier. And then like, of course you get wiser and you know how to steer this ship kind of like more elegantly through life, you know. I would say everything has gotten easier, actually. Also, I don't feel like I have to fucking prove myself as hard as in the beginning because now people kind of maybe understand more what I'm doing and they see like a whole picture of it. Because when you have like the first album, you know, I had The Oath and then that band broke up. And then it was kind of like, oh, now she has a new band. Let's see, you know, if it's any good. Oh, it doesn't sound like the old. It's like you feel like you have to constantly prove yourself, you know. And but by now it's like a whole body of work. So it's like, what?
What
You
the?
know? Yeah.
Yeah. And is there something about life on the road that you still enjoy as much as when the band started? But is there is you did you feel like there's something that's changed about touring that you like more now, that you enjoy more now?
Maybe it's less hard because when you're like a band that's starting out, maybe, you know, you have the shittier hotels, the more stressful schedules to save money. Not that Lucifer is a rich band by any means, but it's gotten a little bit more comfortable, like slightly, you know. So it's not like maybe I will get a few more hours of sleep now here and there, which helps, you know, when you do like a Latin tour, it can be like pretty hardcore to fly from one country, play a show, and get up at 4 in the morning to play the next country the next day. You know, it can be uh, physically a bit tough, but no, I love touring. I love soaking up life and different cultures and like meeting like different people, you know, and eating all the foods and looking at the beautiful, different exotic landscapes and seeing the cemeteries, you know, and
Hmm.
all that. It makes me feel alive. And my soul is like soaking it up like crazy. I really fucking love traveling.
Yeah, that must do you have and is there something you still haven't done with Lucifer musically or visually that you still would like to explore someday?
Yeah, there's a million things actually. I have a very long to-do list of things I would like to explore with Lucifer. And maybe, you know, the next album will reveal some of that.
Cool, can't wait. And if someone discovers Lucifer live for the first time at Banger's Open Air, what would you hope they feel when they leave the show?
Um, I always think it's important to kind of include all the feelings. And that's like what I want to experience when I go to a show. Like I want to have a great fucking time, of course. You know, I love rock and heavy metal, and it's like such a surge of energy, but I also want to feel the comfort of music, you know. So I hope they have shed one tear. I hope they have hugged their friend and they have rocked out and they just had a great fucking time and they want to come back next time Lucifer's in town.
Yeah, and so to finish, um, when I see your posts on social media, like you use a lot of music, like when you post pictures or stories, and I believe these are things that you usually listen to or inspirations, but they usually rock songs, a little bit of dancing here, maybe some Fleetwood Mac, I don't know. Is there any bands or artists that you listen to that someone wouldn't say that you listen to? Like, I can't believe that she likes that. Wow, that's surprising.
Oh, there's a lot. I actually listen to a lot of stuff outside of rock and metal. I mean, I love pop music. I listen to a lot of 80s pop and I listen to a lot of like old goth stuff from the 80s. I love Madonna. I love old soul music from the 60s and 70s. Oh, there's so much stuff that I love. I have crazy playlists. I think
Yeah,
people like wouldn't believe that I listen to that kind of stuff. Hmm.
yeah. There's like a playlist for every mood, right?
Oh, totally. Yes.
So thank you so much for your time. When I started doing interviews and writing about music as a journalist, it was always a dream to talk to you and to interview you. So thank you so much for
Oh,
that. You really
come
are
on.
an inspiration. So thank you. And I'll
You're
see you
so
at
sweet.
Bangers Open Air and hopefully at your solo concert as well.
Hey, thank you so very much for being so lovely to talk to. And I hope we meet when I'm over there.